Check. Well, apologies for the delayed start, but welcome everybody to the live stream of the State Club Cup men's semi-final. This is the first semi-final for the day, and it sees Canterbury taking on Northwest Grads, two Southern Premier League sides who have made it through to the semi-final after both winning their round 2 matches last month. Beautiful day out here at the Tasmanian Hockey Centre in Hobart. Perfect day for hockey. We do have this free live stream up on YouTube for anyone who's tuning in. A word of warning that it is going to be a very simple live stream today. It's just here for those people who can't make it to the grounds. Those people up in the northwest and the north of the state, hello to you if you're tuning in and watching along. But there's going to be some light commentary from me, Scott Edwards, and I am joined by Adam Clifford in the commentary booth for the moment. He'll join us in just a second too. But the game is underway. We've only had a couple of minutes of the game so far. There's no score, just the first quarter. We do have a really good day of State Club Cup hockey action on the live stream, so make sure you stay tuned in to the Hockey Tasmania YouTube channel. But we will have, I've already set up games on the YouTube channel for the 2:30 women's semi-final and the 4 o'clock men's semi-final that's coming up later. So once this game is finished, this stream will end and you'll need to flick over to the next one. That's just to keep things nice and simple for everyone coming and going. But the action is underway here, and it is been a little bit of an easy start for both these sides. No one's really pressed attack just yet. But like I said, the sun's shining, it's a beautiful day, so if you are in the area, come on down and jump in the crowd and enjoy the hockey live. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the live stream for what it is.
All right, thanks Scotty for getting the live stream going for the hockey community today. An interesting start here. Noticeably, Northwest Grads are missing Jai Walker-Kidd and Oliver Stebbings. Launceston City are playing a Greater Northern League match against the leaders up there, Burnie Baptist at home, and I'm not too sure that the absences might be related. And Canterbury have a much changed lineup as well. You've got Lachlan Oakford in goals with Max Larkin sitting on the bench for the first quarter here. No Brenton Watson, he'll coach from the sidelines alongside the injured Craig Donovan. And of course, Alex Hogan-Jones is unavailable as well. So one of the veterans of the former A-grade competition, Josh Polk, sitting on the bench for the Canterbury Lions here today, showing that their depth is perhaps a little bit tested. But an even start here. Sam McCulloch has been busy for Canterbury, as has young Lockie Hughes. Ian McHugh, ever reliable in defence. Well, for Northwest Grads, the usuals, Goblin Gills made a couple of nice interceptions, as we see Aaron Lagoon break into the circle there and turn it onto his forestick, crack it across the spot, and that is Ben East, the Beast, has deflected home through the legs of Dan Harper. Canterbury 1-0. They strike first in this State Club Cup semi-final. Nice counter-attacking move there where they found Lagoon with the one-on-one with Angus Cooper at the back there. Rolled strong and a beautiful ball across the spot where Ben East has carved a bit of a reputation out in recent seasons for his ability to deflect inside the circle. So that'll settle the nerves for Canterbury in this semi-final. Jules Vittorio we see bursting down the right-hand sideline, trying to connect with Jack Pritchard, a mid-season signing from Diamondbacks. He does well to get past Ian McHugh. Oakford is called upon, and it'll be Sean Redmond to bring Canterbury out from trouble. He switches the play to Hughes. Plenty of space in that midfield at the moment. Lockie Rogers, not Hughes. Rolls strong. And he's found Ben East, who goes down from a challenge by Dan Harper. And that'll be a free hit for Northwest Grads. So Northwest Grads deploying a back line, a back four, mixing experience with youth. Angus Cooper and Sam Meikle, combining with James Burke and Jules Vittorio. You tend to think Northwest might favour getting their attacking drive going through Vittorio down at right half. As we see Kiddo relieving the pressure for Canterbury. Their back lines looked really solid so far today. And there's young Rogers again. He's been prolific in his early part. And Canterbury will recycle down the right-hand side with Rasmussen. In on the 45 to East. Good rotation of positions between Canterbury's front 5 or 6 at the moment. Oakford's turn to roll through the midfield and now get out of that space. And Northwest Grads really sitting back a little bit, not marking too tightly. Might be deploying a little bit of a zonal press in midfield just to start the game. Burke's ball down the line, can't get past McCulloch. Carries the ball strong on the 45. Combines with Harmon, Redmond. Here's McCulloch. Danger here for Northwest Grads, but just can't keep the tomahawk shot down. And that was a bit of a let off there for the Bulldogs' defence. Got a dream match up here in the midfield with Sam McCulloch up against Gobbin Gill. Interesting to see how that matchup pans out. As there's a great slide pass from Burke connecting with young Tyson Bessel, but he's unable to control it over the sideline. Alistair White for Northwest Grads starting on the forward line. Had a bit of a quiet start to the game, but he'll have a big role today without Jai Walker Kidd, particularly on penalty corners, and leading a young forward line. Under pressure there from White, and Harmon turns it over. George Wilkinson wants to get the ball going quickly. But Canterbury now with numbers forward. McCulloch goes long. Well trapped. We'll look for the penalty corner, and well protected in his feet was young Cooper there. Always difficult in a one-on-one contest defensively when you're inside the defensive circle with plenty of space. Cooper did well there to keep his sizable feet out of the way. Gill getting involved. Rides a tough tackle from McHugh. Little overhead to Vittorio, and this is that overlap down the right-hand side that I said just a moment earlier that Northwest will look to get going. Oakford does well to win out that contest with Gill. Plenty of space in the midfield at the moment. Somewhat surprisingly, Harvey Bessel's playing central midfield for Northwest Grads, finding himself lots of space. Canterbury rotating their midfielders in and out of the central corridor. Luke Redmond unable to connect there. White will bring us back underway. Finds a beautiful ball across field to Burke. He can go forward now. Pritchard, who's drifted nicely, unable to get his feet around that ball. And Canterbury on the counter-attack. McCulloch, he's got a lagoon high. Oh, and he's fallen over his feet, unfortunately. So just a little bit of unfortunate circumstances at both ends of the ground there. Probably even itself out the luck. Wilkinson now for Northwest Grads has rolled into the back four, as has Gill. Meikle, not much on, so he elects to shovel it down the line, but Rasmussen wins out in that contest. Redmond to Josh Polk, who's just taken the field in his first Premier League game in probably 5 or 6 years. He'll be a nice steadying influence, I imagine, and get to good positions. So Burke connects with Bessel. They've got numbers down this right-hand side if they can get it going quickly. White sensed that, but unable to connect well. Tackles Oakford, wins out. Goes quickly. Oh, very close to a penalty corner there. Canterbury, we have to be careful. Bessel now beats two. unable to control it though, was looking again for a penalty corner. But our umpires today, Harry Winch and Aaron Kitchener, young developing umpires, but still quite experienced at this level. So young Harry Hughes does well to combine with Bessel. George Wilkinson protects the ball, cuts across, left to right drags. Puts the ball out to Bessel. He's lost out to Lockie Rogers though. What a fantastic game he's having in the early stages. He's got East wide. He's looking for the lead down the line. Picked out by Gobbin. He'll need to recycle all the way back to McHugh. Canterbury have got a couple of numbers high, so there's a lot of space in this midfield if they can get the ball going sideways. And look at that beautiful vision from McCulloch to see the lead of Sean Redmond, the lateral lead of Sean Redmond out into the space. Unable to make the trap, but fantastic vision by Sam McCulloch. You can see why he's highly rated and a member of the National Development Squad. Great slide ball across the field. Angus Oakford jumps in front of Tom Dobby, who's just taken the field for graduates. And a bit of a stern whistle from umpire Kitchener to George Wilkinson, it looks like. So McCulloch. Right half on the overlap is Rasmussen. Can combine down the line with East. A little bit slow to throw the pass, so Bessel was able to cut it off. And a wall of Northwest grads, so they have to go out and around. Kiddo's back on the field. He's been a handy acquisition for the Lions in recent weeks. And here's Josh Polk. And lo and behold, Josh Polk in his return to senior Tasmanian hockey has come off the bench, jumped in front of his marker, and with an upright backstick has knocked that past Dan Harper. And Canterbury Lions 2-0 up and seemingly in the box seat to go through to the State Club Cup final. So, Scotty, what do you think Northwest grads have to do from here to change things up?
Yeah, it's been an interesting start. Canterbury obviously just looking really good when they're in the circle, so not sure whether Northwest grads actually have to change too much as they just press the circle quickly there, but I don't think there's too much that they need to change just yet. I don't think it's panic stations for Northwest grads. It's 2-0, yes, but the first quarter is only just winding down now, and I think there's a couple of senior players in that Northwest side who can certainly step up in the second quarter, so plenty of work to do for them in that second quarter, but I don't think panic stations just yet.
Yeah, the problem they have, though, Northwest graduates, is that Canterbury boast a very impressive defensive record. It's not often that side score 3 or 4 against them, so Northwest grads are going to have to chip away at them. They're probably their best angle at the moment might be in earning themselves a penalty corner. Alistair White flicking a couple of penalty corners in recent weeks in the Premier League, but at the moment he's looking a little bit isolated up front, and Canterbury look dangerous every time they go forward. So headaches for graduates coach Rod Clifford, as the siren will sound to what was an entertaining first quarter of our first statewide Club Cup semi-final for the day, first of 3, and Canterbury with a early 2-goal lead. And if they can reign supreme today, they'll be 1 win away from lifting their first bit of silverware in 20 years, Scotty. 2001 was the last time they won a men's senior piece of silverware. Of course, that was after winning the men's A-grade premiership in 1999, 2000, 2001. That 3 in a row. Some good players in that side, Scotty, for Canterbury. So we'll just take a short break and we'll join you very shortly with the second quarter.
I'll give your voice a bit of a break there, Adam. You've certainly done a good job in that first quarter, talking us through all the action that's happening out in this Men's State Club Cup semi-final. Thank you for tuning in. If you are tuned in to the live stream, apologies if there's any technical difficulties. Hopefully everything is working smoothly now. But if there are any issues, you can just leave a comment in the chat section and let us know if you're having any difficulties with the stream. First quarter, Canterbury do have now an early 2-0 lead, which is pretty significant when you compare and contrast these two sides, but we have only had 17 minutes. It is cup hockey, and we know and we've seen already in the State Club Cup that anything can happen in these matches. So, as I was saying before, probably not panic stations just yet for Northwest Grads, but they are going to have to regroup and do a fair bit of work to turn this tie around in the second quarter. They won't want to have this match get any further out of their hands. For Canterbury, it's a pretty exciting time if you're a Lions fan. Men's team on track to have a good finish in the Premier League, which has only got 3 more rounds to go until finals time. And if they can sneak into a cup final too, 2021 could end up being a very successful and memorable season for the men in red. Second quarter now underway. Be interesting to see what Canterbury's approach is as they continue to look for the longer balls, trying to connect with their strikers. It's been successful so far, catching Northwest Grads. Just defending probably a bit too deeply. That sun now very bright too at the Tasmanian Hockey Centre. So if you are in the area, head on down. Come and enjoy some of the sunshine on a nice Saturday afternoon. Forget about the AFL. Forget about any other sport that's blown into town. State Club Cup is the biggest ticket. And of course, the bar and kiosk and the kitchen is open at the Tasmanian Hockey Centre too. So come down and get yourself something to eat and drink as well. I hear there is a really good beef stroganoff on offer from the kitchen at the moment. Right now, Northwest Grads looking to attack through Bessel. Good work from McCulloch to end that. Uses Rogers. Nice run too. He's put a little bit of speed on. He's managed to get it over the 25. Clean up job from the Northwest Grads defenders. Wilkinson wins the free hit there. Vincent Harmon there, under a bit of pressure, gives it up. Northwest Grads look to counter straight away through Goblin Gill. It's a great tackle out there by young Rogers, who, as you mentioned earlier, Adam, is having a fantastic day so far. State Club Cup, really good opportunity for some players to show what they've got, prove themselves in a cup tie, and we see a couple of players playing different positions or slightly out of position, or it's a good shot and good save from Harper too. Good chance for some players to show something a little bit different compared to what they bring every weekend for the Premier League, and we're seeing already Harvey Bessel playing a key role through the Northwest Grads midfield. So he's another one who will enjoy what a cup tie offers in terms of personal development and opportunity to showcase what he's got in the trick bag. Canterbury happy to retain possession at the moment.
So a bit of an even start here in the second quarter. Lachlan Oakford called upon in his return to senior hockey for Canterbury. Great opportunity for him. And great to see Canterbury sharing the goalkeeper duties with Max Larkin, who's had a very impressive season at Premier League level for the Lions. And Dan Harper, he's been a little bit busier than he would otherwise have liked to been, as we see Harvey Bessel now with space in front of himself to gallop forward, tries to connect with Tyson. But just their receiving skills in the attacking 25 are letting down Northwest Grads at this stage. But equally, they're able to reset and come forward again through Canterbury's willingness to go direct. So it'll be Burke on the ball, assesses his options forward, but he'll go back to Wilkinson. He'll go right across the field to Meikle. Another mid-season acquisition that's had a pretty impressive start to his senior hockey career. Of course, he was part of the Tasmanian under-15 side that won a silver medal, but unfortunately broke his hand or wrist in the first couple of games. And that was a big loss because his physicality and strength on the ball would have been a real asset for the Tasmanian side at the back end of that tournament, but they did so impressive. As we see Ian McHugh, calm on the ball, assessing his options, forming a great partnership with Vinnie Harmon at the back for the Lions. For that really stingy defence that they've built this season. And Ben East seems to be thriving in a midfield role today. So Tom Dobby's come on at right half for Northwest Grads, allowing them to throw an extra number forward. And great ball through to Tyson Bessel, but the reverse stick receive just eludes him. Good ball protection there from Thomas Rasmussen at left half, but he has ended up coughing the ball up to Jack Pritchard, who's shown a bit in the early stage of this match. For anyone who's been watching the Kookaburras and Hockeyroos Olympic campaign, you'll notice the poise of players on the ball in tight situations, the ability to protect the ball. Ian McHugh almost comes a cropper there under pressure from Pritchard, but he works his way through. Back in possession now with reverse pressure. Nice shave tackle from Gill, but only as far as Luke Redmond. Covered a lot of ground in the early stage of this match, Gill. And Canterbury with 4 numbers inside the attacking circle. Make that 5 now. Great ball across the field. Cut out by the diving Jack Pritchard to deny McCulloch an opportunity. And the Lions really have a foothold on this match. As we see Kiddo breaking into the circle, carrying it outside his left foot, looking for the short corner, finds nothing. And James Burke will bring Northwest Grads out of defence, but only as far as McCulloch. Thought there might have been a whistle, there wasn't. Canterbury extending themselves down the right-hand side, and Lagoon breaks inside the circle on his back sticks, cut out by McCulloch, and he rolls onto his forestick, and not the most clinical shot of his career, but he's found the bottom left-hand corner, and Canterbury move 3-0 up, and there's some big smiles on the faces of the Canterbury Lions as they make their way back to the half line here. A couple of graduates players had a bit to say to the umpires, but you just can't give Aaron Lagoon that much time at the top of the circle. And while his contact wasn't the cleanest, he was able to find McCulloch, who'd ghosted in behind. And 3 goals. Well, I don't think in their wildest dreams Canterbury would have thought that they'd be 3-0 up after 22 minutes, but here we have it. And Northwest Graduates really This is cup hockey at its best. They're going to have to throw the kitchen sink now going forward. They've got to find a way to get Alistair White involved in this game. Great reverse tackle there from Pritchard. Gives away the free hit. So with the Tasmanian Hockey Centre baked in sunshine, we've got an early upset brewing on the cards here with Canterbury 3-0 up against Northwest Grads and looking to book a spot in the State Club Cup final as Redmond finds East. Great left outstretched hand from Harper, but only as far as Lagoon, and he's put that away on his tomahawk. We have 4-0 now. So that quick counter-attacking style of Canterbury really giving headaches to Northwest Graduates, the defending men's Premier League champions.
Yep, and that's exactly what we were talking about at quarter time, where it wasn't quite panic stations yet for Northwest Grads, but it is now. Canterbury have done absolutely brilliantly to put in 4 goals in the first half, and it's certainly set themselves very nicely indeed. So we see a card dished out for young George Wilkinson too, so things just unravelling a little bit for the Bulldogs. And they're currently down to 10 players as Canterbury make an attack. There's East on the ball, who's having a really good day. Gill makes the interception, trying to do the defensive work, and out they come through Burke. Forced onto his reverse. Nice little bit of interplay, but White's pass just doesn't quite get to James Burke in the end. So, different type of pressure now. Cup tie, spot in the cup final on the line for Canterbury. They find themselves 4-0 up, but there is plenty of time left in the match, so their approach from this situation is going to be telling. It's going to tell us a fair bit about the maturity of that squad and where they're at in season 2021. Has been a really good season so far. They find themselves occupying, I think it's 4th position on the Premier League ladder at the moment, but they are still just 1 or 2 points away from taking 2nd spot, which does give them a second chance in the Premier League finals. So this Canterbury side is up and about this season, playing very good hockey, and they're definitely showing it today exactly what they're capable of in this cup tie. Just a little mistake there. Northwest Grads are into the final 5 minutes of the first half. If they're going to have any hope of getting back into this match, they're going to have to find a way to goal these next 5 minutes, I would suspect. One telling statistic is 0 penalty corners for Northwest Grads so far. We know that's a huge avenue to goal for them, even though Jai Walker kids not playing today. They do have Alistair White out there, who is more than capable of scoring a drag flick or converting a penalty corner. He's an all-star, multiple all-star for the Premier League. He's got a couple of all-star jerseys over the years, so certainly more than capable. But yeah, it's certainly looking certainly not good signs so far for Northwest Grads, and not sure exactly what they can change at half-time. McCulloch makes a run through the middle again. But maybe, Adam Clifford, you have some ideas on what Northwest Grads can do a little bit differently in the second half to get back in this tie.
Well, Scotty, I can see that Govan Gill's taken it upon himself to jump into the back 4 and be a distributor, but it's this man for mine, Alistair White. Really had no impact just yet, finding himself isolated and maybe just trying a little bit too much. As I see Ian McHugh just glide past George Wilkinson, who's returned to the field after being sin-binned. And Sam McCulloch, he's been the most dangerous man on the field. And there he goes. A great crossfield ball to Josh Poke, but he's unable to connect with it on the dive. But Canterbury, Scotty, they're a side with a lot of internal belief. They seem to be thriving against Northwest Grad's zonal marking system, playing with a lot of confidence, and then they attack in waves. Really quick counter-attacking side, and it's carving Northwest Grads apart. So Coach Rod Clifford might want to elect to go a little bit more man-on-man in midfield. I certainly think Alistair White needs a little bit more support on that forward line, as we see Rogers might have done him disservice by saying Sam McCulloch was the most dangerous man on the field, because he's been brilliant. There he goes, working his way to Lagoon on the baseline, but unable to connect. And McCulloch again coming forward. So sheer weight of circle entries and forays forward now starting to be telling for Canterbury. There's not a lot of energy or voice from the graduate side. They're very quiet, very stagnant. One touch pass from Poke into McCulloch. He drives, well saved by Harper, and the rebound comes all the way out to Alistair White, but again just rushes his decision making and unable to hold on to possession. So 2 minutes to go before half time. Canterbury well poised, 4-0 leaders. That's right, you heard that correctly. Canterbury leading 4-0, 2 minutes before half time against the defending Premier League champions, and seemingly with 1 foot in the door for a State Club Cup finals appearance, as we see Rasmussen connects with Kiddo. Strong tackle from Gill. Not a great second effort though. And Harvey Bessel has possession stolen by young Rogers. Chance for the Bessels to work together now down the right hand side. They can't, they come inboard, and it's cut out by McHugh. And Canterbury. Numbers sideways if Smooth wants to go that way, he does, to Josh Poke. Great ball down the line to Sean Redmond, but he just can't get there in time. Important 50-odd seconds here for Northwest graduates. Can they work an opportunity on goal? Can they work a penalty corner opportunity for after the siren? Canterbury have sagged their press back to the 60. Rogers pushes out. Richter marks. They're holding their line on the 60, Canterbury, allowing Northwest to have this uncontested possession. Gill looks to go incisive with the overhead, but it falls through a crowd of red shirts, and it's now Canterbury. Can they work one final opportunity? Angus Oakford, not too much forward. Tries to drive through Vittorio, not the clean trap, so young Marks. Diving 4-stick slap, but unable to keep that in the field of play. Gill will pull it out, and we're just seconds away from the siren now. And there's the hooter, it sounds. Canterbury leading 4-0. They've deputised with Lachlan Oakford in the goals, missing a couple of their more senior players like Brenton Watson, Craig Donovan, Alex Hogan-Jones, and still they see themselves 4-0 up. A really spirited performance. They've been direct, they've been aggressive, they've attacked with waves, and most importantly, Scotty, they've taken their chances with Lagoon impressive in that attacking circle. Josh Poke rose off the bench to put one away, and Sam McCulloch's also contributed a goal and been impressive. They really haven't had too many players not playing their role today, and they've knocked the ball around and really controlled it from go to woe. So the onus really now on Northwest graduates to see what they can change. Do they throw George Wilkinson or Gobbin Gill forward? What do they do with Harvey Bessel? But they do really need to find an avenue pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough ask now for this Bulldogs side. We know that they're a very capable unit, and certainly probably got their eyes focused on the Premier League rather than the State Club Cup, just judging by some of the players that have been rested for this match. We know there's a bit of a break in the Premier League schedule at the moment, so certainly there'll be a lot of Premier League teams that'll enjoy a couple of weeks off. But also that is the challenge of the Cup, is trying to get the teams right for the Cup tie and trying to give a couple of players a bit of an opportunity in the first team or in a different position. So there's certainly a couple of players in that Northwest side that will enjoy being a part of that group and being able to play with the likes of James Burke and Gob and Gillen. Will learn a lot from this experience. And that's the beauty of the State Club Cup, which is a new competition for this season, which has been brought in by Hockey Tasmania with all the other associations around the state. We did have the first round, which was the teams from the Greater Northern League and the Premier League, the men's and women's competitions. It was a battle on in the first half of their respective seasons for ladder positions, because that was how the seeding for the second round of the State Club Cup was done. And from the second round of the State Club Cup, we had a glorious day of hockey with matches in Burnie and Launceston and in Hobart. We had 8 different top-level matches between the Greater Northern League teams and the Premier League teams. A fantastic day of hockey all around. And from that, we are into the semi-finals. Of course, we know a couple of weeks ago the first women's semi-final was played, which saw the South Launceston Suns be the first team to qualify for the Women's Cup final after beating Diamondbacks in a great semi-final. Last second winning goal. Magic of the Cup on display right there. And today we're going to have 3 of the remaining semi-finals, all including the southern teams, who all qualified from the second round. This current match, we see Canterbury with a 4-0 lead at half-time, which is a very impressive performance from them, and if they hold on, they'll go through to the Men's Cup final. The game following this one will be the women's second semi-final, so that will decide who meets the Suns in the Women's Cup final, and that's going to be between Northwest Grads and OHA. And then later on tonight is the 4 o'clock match between Derwent and OHA in the men's second semi-final. And Adam, you'll be having a key role on the sideline for that match, unless you're making a sneaky appearance off the bench that you haven't told us about. But yeah, certainly looking forward to that game later on this evening. Give us a little bit of insight at half time. Give me 30 seconds of insight into how Derwent's going to approach that match.
Yeah, look, we're out to win it, and the guys are taking it very seriously. Been a good couple of sessions this week, and it's always a great opportunity to, when you're playing OHA, to refine things ahead of the Premier League final series, but also play a high pressure, high stakes game and see how the players react. So that'll be the key thing for us, Scotty. We pretty consistently have created chances, but whether or not we take them early, and then how do we respond when challenged, or if those opportunities don't go away, will be the key things that we'll be looking at from today's game. But we go in at virtually full strength, and unfortunately we lost Henry Curtis last week with a shoulder injury, but Linda McCarthy's back now, so looking forward to a strong performance from the boys this afternoon, and hopefully we can make our way into the State Club Cup final. As the siren goes and these two teams make their way back onto the park, it looks like Gob and Gill is going to have a little bit more of a forward position. Max Larkin's going to take up his usual spot in goals for Canterbury, just to shore up their defence even further and protect their 4-goal lead. But a great afternoon of hockey, and of course these two sides, if ladder positions in the Premier League were to stay the same, will face each other in an elimination final. So important confidence boosting win, and a statement can be made here from either side. As White gets us underway, they go all the way back to Cooper. As the cry goes out from Ian McHugh, not to rush and hold your space. Ball down the line from Vittorio. And Harry Hughes has won a free hit for Northwest Grad, so they can advance over the half line now. Northwest Grad's have favoured the back pass in the match today and struggle to hold some territory as the ball goes through from Cooper all the way through to Tyson Bessel. Northwest Grads, they love to get a midfielder breaking into the attacking 25 late. Pressure on Vincent Harmon from Tyson Bessel. He wins out. He'll work the 2-on-1 with McHugh down in the bottom left-hand corner. And Harmon will just look to clear that out of danger. Intercepted by Burke, jinking run. Beats Redmond. Recycles out to Vittorio. Another player that likes to jink. Beats two. Can't quite control it enough to win the free hit. And Ian McHugh is in the way. And a nice composed work here from Canterbury down in that bottom left-hand corner once again. They've worked it out well here. And Cooper under pressure from Lagoon. Looks after it well. George Wilkinson's going to look to change the point of attack. He's on his reverse stick side at pace. Goes down under a challenge from McCulloch and wins the free hit. That's better from Northwest Graduates with a couple of jinking runs. Wilkinson tracking on an angle at pace. He can go back to Burke or back to Gill. The former it is. All the way back to Gill. Cooper to Bessel. Protects the ball well on his reverse stick side with his body. Great contest he's having there with Angus Oakford. But still just lacking that last little bit of penetration. Here's White. He posts back up. Opportunity to go quickly here. Left to right drag. Slaps it in. And that's taken a foot from young Lagoon. And that'll be a penalty corner for Northwest Grads. Their first opportunity of the match. You'd have to say in this situation, Scotty, Alistair White, straight flick between the posts. You'd almost put your mortgage on it.
Well, this is the moment, Adam. They've got their first penalty corner for the game, and it's come in the second half after they're already 4-0 down. So this one really has to go in. We see George Wilkinson also lining up, looking like he might be a flick. Could be a decoy, but it might be something that the coaching staff wants to see, whether it works in this context. They do go to White. He goes for the direct hit. Doesn't quite get onto it and goes wide of Larkin's right post. You'd be disappointed if you were Max Larkin and you spent the first half watching from the sidelines. Lockie Oakford not have a whole lot to do, and then the first time it's shot at you, you concede. But so far, it's all good for Canterbury. Though here's Burke now, trying to stream forward. Doesn't like what he sees. Trying to find an option. And instead he's coughed it up. That's Vincent Harmon, who's had a really good month of hockey in July. Added a couple of goals, a couple of teams of the week. And he's been very impressive in the Premier League for a young defender. Starting to exert a bit of influence on this Canterbury side. Northwest still can't find an avenue forward and are forced to go back once again. Vittorio deep in defence now. Northwest struggling to connect with their forwards no matter what wing they're going up. We see them had a little bit of success when they changed that angle of attack to a bit more direct. Is it time to pull that trigger, Adam, and just start going straight down the middle?
Well, it's been the difference between the two sides at the moment. Canterbury looking forward, being much more aggressive with their passing. As we see McCulloch drive the ball in the circle there. Can't quite cue in with young marks, but Canterbury looking to go very direct. A little bit risky at times, but when it works, it pays huge dividends, where Northwest Grad's huge tendency to go back and sideways, Scotty, and they haven't really been the attacking threat that they might otherwise have been. So here's Tyson Bessel posting back, finds himself under pressure from two Canterbury defenders, wins a free hit, and George Wilkinson can go aerial to Harvey Bessel. McCulloch's snuffs out that danger. And that was better from Northwest, looking to play the ball direct, looking to play the ball quickly. As Bessel combining with White. Wins a free hit. And it's really what they can orchestrate from here. But just not got their connections going at the moment, Northwest Grads. This will be an interesting next couple of minutes to see how they work their way through that period. As Canterbury, McHugh goes direct to Redmond. He's met by Cooper. Can't find the lateral lead. And that bit of play is probably summed up their first 2/3 of this game for Northwest Grads, as it strikes Tyson Bessel, who was unaware, on the back of the foot. Great ball through from young Rogers. Tries to find, is it Tom Beard who's taken the field now at right wing. Inject some legs to the Canterbury forward line in this second half. I'm just looking, and Northwest Grad skipper James Burke's off the field at the moment. Not sure if there's an issue there. And a chance for Canterbury to go again. They go quickly. There's that direct ball once they win possession. They consolidate a little bit here. Kiddo, wearing Oliver Lane's old number 41 on his back. Great ball from McHugh into Rogers, protects the ball beautifully for a diminutive player. McHugh slides the ball across to Kiddo. Down the line to Rasmussen, who now finds himself in a more aggressive position after playing the first half at right half. Protects the ball well, cuts the ball into Rogers. He left it behind. And a physical contest between Redmond and Cooper. Redmond wins out, recycles out to McHugh. Pressure building here for Northwest Graduates. Rogers finds himself in space against that zonal press of Northwest Graduates. But Hughes finds Wilkinson. Doesn't want to go too quickly, unfortunately. Gill loses out. Outstretched Beard, and he goes to ground, and he brings Gob Gill with him, and that's a yellow card every day of the week under the new rules. You cannot bring a player to ground now in hockey, and that is a fantastic ball by Wilkinson. Finds Jack Pritchard. He's brought down in the circle, and penalty corner to Northwest Grads. Careless defending by the Lions. In actual fact, it's been reversed now by the umpire. Okay, so not sure what happened there, but Canterbury, a little bit of a let-off after a fantastic penetrative pass by Wilkinson, and Jack Pritchard continues to show a little bit on the forward line for Northwest Grads for a young player in his first season of senior hockey. So Rasmussen galloping forward, protects the ball outside his left foot, dumps the ball back to Redmond, but that's clever touch by Cooper with his long reach. And yet another pass sails past Alistair White.
Yeah, we see Tom Beard, he received a 10-minute yellow card for that infraction. He's someone who has only just recently come back to the Premier League, moved back to Tasmania with his wife Blair, who is playing for the Canterbury Women's Premier League side, and she's putting together a very impressive season herself. Tom's just found himself back into the Men's Premier League side as Northwest Grads make another circle incursion to no success. But yeah, certainly Tom Beard maybe can be a little bit excused for not being quite up to date on all the changes to the rules recently, but no doubt he will be now. But that does leave Canterbury a player down. It's Northwest attempt to attack and use that extra number out on the left. Great keeping from Larkin. Northwest grads have a chance to reload, although it is a free hit to Canterbury. So yeah, for the remainder of this quarter and for a couple of minutes starting in the final quarter, Canterbury will be down to 10 players. Northwest are going to launch any sort of comeback in this cup tie. It's now or never. Starting to put together a couple of nice little attacks and putting a bit of pressure on the Canterbury defence. So this is the first time this Canterbury side has really been tested. Brave from Redmond came bustling through to collect that loose ball. Although Bessel now with the steal. And a penalty corner awarded. Harvey Bessel does really well to earn his side a chance. And although I do feel that time might have just got away from this Northwest side, there is still 17 minutes of the final quarter and another 5 minutes to go here. So 4 goals for Northwest. Not a huge mountain to overcome if they can get one here and slowly pick away at that lead with a bit more aggressive play of the remaining 20 minutes. But here we go, injection from Gill. Will be a drag flick from White and a fantastic save from Max Larkin. White's gone high, Larkin makes the save, the rebound falls Canterbury's way. Up high. And this trap, they were setting themselves for a nice little counter. But I think that save from Larkin has probably just about seen his side qualify through to the Men's Cup final now. Northwest grads have had a couple of really good opportunities this quarter. Haven't been able to find a way to goal, so task ahead of them, very tough indeed. And now for Canterbury, it is just a matter of holding on, especially in this tricky period when they are still down a player. Got space through the midfield. Rogers, nice bit of vision to find a man out wide. Numbers streaming forward. Redmond, good save. Loose ball.
Fantastic save by young Jack Larkin, who's now taken the field for Northwest grads. And his brother Max at the other end for Canterbury in the goals. Family of course, 3 goalkeepers, and a fantastic opportunity there where he came out, faced virtually a 3-on-1, and a brilliant diving save from young Jack. So looks a promising young keeper like his older brother at the other end. As we see Harmon wins back possession for Canterbury. They'll go across the field to Josh Polk, who's taken up a defensive position. And Northwest, they've got to sense the moment now. 3 minutes before three-quarter time. They've got the player advantage. It allows Bessel with space in front of him to run in. Always favours his back stick side. Protects the ball beautifully. And he's won the penalty corner. And then Alistair White, lo and behold, has put that in from the baseline after the whistle. It won't count, unfortunately, for the Bulldogs. But really strong play from Harvey Bessel, carrying it outside his left foot. His favoured side. And Northwest grads, opportunity number 3. They're going to line up with the same battery. Harvey Bessel's probably their preferred stick stop. So he'll go off the right post with Alistair White. George Wilkinson lining up off Harry Hughes. Gill to inject. Goes to Hughes. Wilkinson flicks. Glove height for Larkin. And that's a comfortable save, glanced over the back line. They're still down to 10 Canterbury, so there's another opportunity in this quarter, you feel. As Vittorio bursts into the circle on the baseline. Saved by Larkin with his glove low to the ground. And that's a bit of a let-off for the Lions. You feel like graduates have lifted their level and Canterbury just holding on here to three-quarter time. Bessel to Bessel. Favours that back stick side. Well read by Ian McHugh. He was alert to the danger, and that was a fantastic four-stick tackle. And Canterbury now, a chance to counter-attack. McCulloch driving ball through. Another penetrative ball, cut out by Dobby. Cooper's isolated. Fantastic tackle there by Marks. And in desperation, Angus Cooper stuck his stick in from behind, and it's not a great tackle. Certainly wasn't clean. And Canterbury, after weathering a bit of pressure there, they've counter-attacked nicely to force a penalty corner. And if Sam McCulloch can put this away, you feel like it is absolutely lights out Northwest Graduates. So Canterbury, because they're down to 10, they have to pull an extra player out of their attacking penalty corner battery. Vinnie Harmon not too pleased that he's been the man hauled out after, as Scotty said, scored a couple of goals in recent weeks. It'll be Beast to inject. Just the one battery. McCulloch from the top. That's a powerful drag flick. Looked like a fantastic save by Angus Cooper. I was waiting for a penalty stroke to be awarded then, but he's either got glove or stick handle to that one. That was a brilliant save from the under-18 Tasmanian vice-captain. As the siren sounds, the scores remain 4-0 to Canterbury with a quarter to play here. And it looks like James Burke and Dan Harper's day may be done for Northwest Grads. Spent the majority of that quarter on the bench. And that's got to play into Canterbury's hands as well, Scotty. Not sure how much longer they'll be with 10 men for. Another 3 minutes or so. So just a reminder, coming up after this, we have the top two Premier League women's sides facing off for a spot in the statewide Cup Grand Final. That'll be Northwest Grads up against OHA. OHA just missing a little bit of experience. No Sophie McLeod today. But they'd have to go into the match as favourites, you'd think. Up against Northwest Grads, who, as I watch them warming up at the moment, I feel like I've spotted one of their leading goal scorers in Ashley Arthur not warming up with the side. So unsure if she's going to take the field or not today. As we see the Northwest Grads, bit of a low-key warm-up at the moment, but no doubt they'll be building into a strong performance today. And then, of course, after that, we've got the top two men's Premier League sides, OHA and Derwent. That's a mouth-watering contest. 6 goals in their last game, I believe. There'll be goals at either end. You've got Angus Bolton and Paul Anker and James Clifford on the forward line for Derwent. And, of course, Sam McCambridge for OHA leading the line. But they've got a really strong midfield, OHA, with Joe Murphy, Oliver Smith, Nick Leslie, and the very dangerous James Thomas on the penalty corner battery. High stakes today. It's Cup semi-final day. And as we get to get underway for the last quarter of this men's first semi-final, Canterbury leading 4-0. Missing a host of key players. That's going to be a nice selection headache in the coming weeks. And Northwest Grads, after a bit of a slow start, built into that third quarter, but were unable to capitalise from 3 penalty corners. Perhaps, Scotty, their slow start might be down to the fact they didn't play last week.
Yeah, very possible. I think the way the game is set up now is I can't see too much changing. Certainly time is against Northwest Grads, and Canterbury look more than comfortable now with this lead. We are, of course, streaming this live and free through YouTube. And shout out to Kerry Kitto, who's tuning in from Adelaide. And no doubt she's a relation to Brad Kitto, but I don't want to guess whether it's a mother, an aunt, a sister, or anything like that. But hello, Kerry in Adelaide. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're enjoying the stream and you're able to tune in and watch this game live from somewhere else in the country. You're of course seeing Canterbury comfortably in front in this match, 4 goals to the better. And looking good, creating an attack down the right-hand side. Nice tackle there from, is that Harry Vanderwood? No? Who's that? Oh, is that Julian Vittorio? Snuck out there on the wide defensive role. Wilkinson's pass takes a deflection but falls to Tyson Bessel eventually, and they recycle once again. So Northwest grads seem to be more than happy to stick with the way they approached the first 3 quarters, holding on to possession, trying to go around the back. But I think the way Canterbury is set up, we know how difficult they are to break down, and can't see this approach being particularly successful in this quarter. To have a bit of a breakthrough, White. Nice ball into the circle. Doesn't reach his man. Took a little deflection off Canterbury player. And now Goblin Gill will have the ball on the 23. Goes aerial, out wide. And a missed trap. So the ball back in possession of Canterbury, who are back to their full complement of 11 players now. So any advantage that Northwest grads had to try and get back into this game is now gone. And really, it's on Canterbury now to survive the next 14 minutes with their 4-goal lead intact.
Yes, of course, we're playing under different rules with 17-minute quarters as Brad Kiddo finds Lagoon rolling onto his 4-stick squeeze shot, unable to screw that back on target. And Jack Larkin comfortable to see that go out over the baseline. Of course, Brad Kiddo, a former back markers mile winner at Stawell. And of course, Canterbury also boasting Tom Beard, who's a former state under 18, state open 800 metre champion. So they're going to run this game out, Scotty. No doubt about it in my mind, the Canterbury Lions. And it's just going to be more the way in which they play this game out in terms of composure. Already they've started this quarter by just trialling their man-on-man style, defensive style, with the front fullback Ian McHugh getting right up high in the front line of their press. As we see Luke Redmond with a very tidy pirouette in midfield, but he's coughed the ball up to Harvey Bessel. Chance for a 5-on-5 situation. Bessel looks left, looks right. Goes straight through McHugh though. Ian McHugh, he'd probably be a little bit disappointed with the news just yesterday that the National Masters Championships have been called off for the year. I reckon he would have been an absolute lock to make the Australian over 35 side. But he'll have his opportunity in other years. As Redmond gives the ball back to Gobbin. Bessel. He's got busy in this second half. Lots of space, but he's often been forced to go it alone. 50-50 challenge there in the midfield. Bessel finds himself back in possession, goes wide to Wilkinson. And he'll put the ball out into space to Cooper. Cooper will go back. His passing map would probably not have too many metres gained. Young Cooper and Vittorio today, they've gone backwards and sideways a lot. Chance to go forward. He's lost out there, and Lagoon can take this one quickly. Here's the much travelled Kiddo. Into Rogers. Had a quieter third quarter, but a very impressive young player. Alistair White's one possession from Harmon. Goes to Bessel. He's got Gill on the left. He's got space. Time to pick a pass on his reverse stick. Drills it in, and he struck Vincent Harmon on the foot. A penalty corner there for Northwest graduates. They were scrambling back there in defence as Gill, with his vision and that passing range on either side of his body, threatened. And another look at the penalty corner. This must be corner number 5. Scotty's arguing with me that it's only 3 or 4, but once we get past one hand, we're both in trouble, Scotty. The North West Graduates, an opportunity here. You sense that this is going to be a white flick. Low to Larkin's left-hand side, I would expect. So straight down the line here. Canterbury run a tight line, but there's a gap there, and he's flicked it low to Larkin's left as predicted. It strikes Harmon on the foot, so that's twice in as many minutes for young Vincent. And a penalty stroke awarded by umpire Winch. George Wilkinson confidently strides up to place the ball on the spot. And a chance, the customary fist bump. And from the penalty spot, if you don't mind, he goes bottom right-hand side, in off the inside of the post. That is unstoppable. Nothing Max Larkin could do there, unfortunately. And Northwest Grads reduce the deficit. And they've got reason to believe now. Northwest Graduates girls warming up for their big semi-final coming up. Louisa Jacobson, she'll be very important, as will Grace Cowart. Gill putting more pressure on the Canterbury defence. The diving Harvey Bessel, unable, usually so reliable on the 4-stick deflection. And wouldn't that have made the closing stages of this game exciting, Scotty, if Harvey Bessel had been able to screw that one in on target?
Yeah, final 10 minutes. We see George Wilkinson put away a stroke. So finally, Northwest Grads find a way to goal. Still a long way back for them, but we know with a draw, these State Club Cup matches go directly to a shootout. Canterbury on the attack though. Nice little byplay, or a couple of slips. And it's cleared by Sam Meikle. Canterbury opened it up nicely for themselves there, but probably overthought it. A couple of untimely slips on the turf, and an open goal goes begging. But yeah, the game still certainly does look like it's Canterbury's. And despite that one goal for Northwest Grads, they're going to need to find 3 more at least in the next 8 minutes if they are to have any hope of progressing through to the cup final. Here is the goal scorer, Wilkinson. Uses Gill back, but he's under enormous pressure, coughs it up to Redmond. Coming through as McCulloch. His pass just out of reach of Richter Marks. Gill wants to use the middle quickly. Wilkinson again, those two, a little bit of pass to pass at the moment. Free hit just in their back half. Wilkinson goes overhead. It's a nice ball to Harvey Bessel into the circle. Nice little lob over the top of Max Larkin, and there is the second one. Wonderful work from Harvey Bessel. Fantastic pass from George Wilkinson. So, number 2.
You had a little chuckle in the commentary box, Scotty, when I said that they had reason to believe, and that is a fantastic goal. The aerial pass from Gill And the delicate touch, just lifting the ball over the encroaching Max Larkin's left-hand shoulder, and it's found its way in the back of the net. 4-2, game on, still 7 minutes to play. And I'll tell you what, the way this last quarter's going, Scotty, young Jack Larkin's going to have some bragging rights over big brother of Max. So far he's sitting on a clean sheet, young Jack. As we see Canterbury still playing the same way, aggressive, very active in their midfield positions with their leading. Northwest Grads sliding across field but not picking up their men tightly. And Canterbury having the poise and the confidence to play the ball into those areas. As we see Tom Rasmussen, lateral lead out to the sideline. Dumps the ball back into Ian McHugh. Not in a hurry to go forward. Tries to pick up Rogers. Chance here now for Jack Pritchard. He's combined with Alistair White. Not a clean touch, but regathers. Dumps the ball out to Harvey Bessel. But just not making the right choice there. They're looking to tire a little bit, Northwest Graduates, and there's big distance between their back group and their forward group at the moment. Gill, though, spots that space and jumps in. His pass is picked off by McCulloch, and he's rushed in, and that's going to hurt Northwest Graduates as Gill is sent from the field with a green card. So he'll sit for 2 minutes. And not really doing the team thing there either, Scotty. He's taken his time getting to the bench, and his 2 minutes will only just start now. So that's disappointing for Northwest Grads. Still 5 minutes to play in this match. They've scored 2 goals in this last quarter, and they're starting to believe that something special was brewing. But they'll have to play out the next 2 minutes with just 10 on the field. Ian McHugh out to Sam McCulloch. Carries the ball strong, but goes too direct. East can dump the ball out to Oakford. Elects to do so. Great receive by Rogers. Dumps it across to McCulloch. He'll swing in on his back stick side and finds Sean Redmond at the left-hand post, and that will be lights out Northwest Graduates. Sean Redmond scoring there. A fantastic ball from Lockie Rogers through to McCulloch. He skinned his first tackler and then connected with Redmond at the left-hand post, and he's knocked into an empty net. So 5-1 Canterbury. Make no doubt about it, Scotty, they will be going through to the State Club Cup, the inaugural Cup final in October. And their hopes of winning their first senior trophy in 2 decades remains alive. The impressive Rogers out to Kiddo. To McCulloch. They really have stretched the field nicely today, Canterbury. Rogers, great control on the ball. To McCulloch. He'll go down the line to East, but unable to control it. But it won't matter because the 6 seconds are now starting to tick away for Canterbury. And Scotty, I'm just thinking, with all the players out for Canterbury today, you've got the likes of Donovan, Watson, O'Connor, Moroney, Hogan-Jones. There's going to be a real selection headache for Canterbury for this State Club Cup final. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, McCulloch making another attack. Incisive ball into the circle. Turn and shoot from Redmond. Out comes Jack Larkin. Gets an important touch on it. Ball loose around the goal mouth, and Northwest survive for the moment. Canterbury have handled this cup tie really well. I think the players they've brought in, especially Josh Polk, just coming off the bench, bit of a master stroke there, just bringing in an experienced player. He walks away with a goal too. And still Canterbury applying so much pressure to Northwest Grads. Great tackle there from McCulloch again. He bursts into the circle, takes his shot, and it's sprayed wide. But yeah, certainly cup final time. Canterbury can start looking ahead to that, and be interesting to see what their approach is. Whether they give the chance to play in a huge final like that to some of their younger players, or whether they go in with a full strength side. after the Premier League season is done. So they will have everyone to choose from. They can send in a strong side, and as you said, it'd be their first senior piece of silverware outside of your standard Club v Club silverware, of course. So yeah, if I'm Canterbury, I'm probably going to put out my strongest team and go for the win.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a club first to sort of approach, with a lot of their Premier League players rolling through first grade during the year as well. And their first grade side sit on top of the ladder, so I think they might look to play their best side in the Club Cup and then reward the others in the first grade final series if they possibly can. Of course, this performance shows that they're very much alive in the Premier League final series as well, so a bit of a juggling act for them there, but great to see Canterbury back in the top four after years outside, and they're going to really draw a lot of belief from this performance that special things are brewing for the club. As we watch Tyson Bessel throw that ball out, so the seconds ticking away. Northwest grads will probably be pretty quick to put this game to bed. Of course, no game for them next week. At one stage it looked like they might go a month without between games. Were it not for this fixture. They've been very cautious with the likes of Dan Harper and James Burke today. Burke hasn't taken the field after about a couple of minutes, so we hope that there's no injury there. But it looks to be managed because he's got a heavy fixture list coming up with the Hockey One League and the final series for Northwest. They've missed their defensive linchpin and penalty corner specialist in Jai Walker-Kidd. You feel like if he'd stepped up and put a couple of those penalty corners away in the second quarter, this might have been a different story, this scoreline. As we see, Gill has lost a little bit of focus in this last quarter. He'll be disappointed with that as he tries to grow his on-field maturity. Player of immense talent and a big future. So the siren will sound, and the Redmen will emerge victorious in the State Club Cup first semi-final. They'll go through the final in October. And some high fives between Sean Redman and Ian McHugh. They'll be pleased with that performance. Uncharacteristic from Northwest. Just lacked connections and played quite conservatively, in fact. But really, that was just the precursor, Scotty. That was just the appetiser before the main event now, with OHA Northwest Graduates Women to follow us shortly.
No, I think Northwest grads probably happy to have the cup behind them now. We know they've had a number of players that are making their way back from injury, and their focus, you would suspect, is purely on the Premier League finals now. So they'll be happy with, certainly Alistair White was able to get a few extra minutes into his legs after missing a solid month or so of hockey with a broken arm. And Jai Walker-Kidd able to have an extended break. He'll certainly be the better for that. But for the men's semi-final, it is Canterbury who won 5-2 against Northwest grads. They are the first team through the men's State Club Cup final. And the live stream will now switch, so anyone who's tuned in and wants to watch the next match, I think Canterbury just lining up for a bit of a photo there. This live stream will end in just a few moments, and anyone who wants to tune into the next match, stick on the Hockey Tasmania YouTube channel. But you'll notice that there is already a stream set up there for the next match, that stream will start in a couple of minutes after this one finishes. So if you are tuned in, this stream is just about to end. Go to the YouTube channel and just flick over to the next game, which is OHA versus Northwest grads. And then we'll enjoy that stream from there. But for those of you who just tuned in for this match, thank you very much. And we'll see you in a short moment.